My brother died 5 days ago. He just knocked on my front door begging to come in. When my brother died in a car crash, the funeral arrangers told us that we needed to have a closed casket funeral. They said the fire made it impossible to view the body, and they even said that the only way the coroner was able to identify the body was with his dental record. My parents accepted it, but I always thought something was up. Mark was my older brother. He was super smart, healthy, and was the safest driver I knew. Yet somehow, they said that his car exploded after he drove into a ditch on the highway. I remember just staring at the casket, with the faintest feeling of someone not being inside. I asked the priest if I could see the body, but he wouldn't let me. I assumed that it was just some weird law, stating that you're not allowed to open caskets at funerals, but I knew I was wrong when I woke up to knocking 5 nights after. It was 2:41 a.m., and my mom told everyone she knew not to come by our house for the next month. So either I was just hearing random noises, or someone was breaking in. I decided to go back to sleep, but then woke up to someone banging on the door a couple minutes later. There was no way I was hearing made-up sounds, so I slowly walked down the stairs and crept through the peephole. There was someone standing on the porch. His head was down, his hair was charred at the sides, and all his clothes were blackened, almost like they were fused to his skin. But then all of a sudden, he looked up at me, and all I could do was just drop to the floor. It was Mark. His left eye was swollen shut, and his mouth was moving slowly, repeating the same phrase. "Nick, please." I got out. "Help me." I slightly opened the door to see if it was really him, and asked him to prove that it was him. I wasn't really expecting anything from this guy, but then he brought his driver's license out of his pocket, the same one that the coroner told us burned in the crash. I opened the door completely to let him in, and when I did, he just fell forward, collapsing into my arms. "They buried me alive," he said. I was screaming the whole time, but none of you could hear me. I dragged him inside while he was shaking uncontrollably. His blood was soaking into my shirt, and he kept muttering about some second man in the wreck. It wasn't just me in the crash. There was someone else. He didn't die. They thought he was me, and they put him in the ground. That was the last thing he said before he fully passed out. I tried calling 911 to send me help, but the call didn't go through. Instead, the screen just went black. I restarted my phone and called them again. This time my screen flashed white with a single word on the screen: unclaimed. I dropped my phone and ran back to the living room to Mark to check if he was okay, but he was gone. When I looked to see where he went, I found that the front door was wide open, with a muddy footprint on the front porch. The foot itself was too long, and the nails looked like razors. I needed to know where my brother was, so I followed the prints through the yard, and they led toward the cemetery where we buried Mark. But his grave wasn't flat anymore. There was a massive hole in it. When I ran over to see what was in the hole, I found that his casket was shattered, with bite marks everywhere. But there was something carved right in the middle of the empty casket. It was a single word that read, "switched." That's when I heard something breathing right behind me. I turned around to see if it was Mark, but it wasn't. It was something taller, something thinner. It opened its mouth and spoke in a voice that only almost sounded like him. "You left me there." I turned and ran back home like my life depended on it. It's been 2 days since this happened, and I'm sitting in my room writing this. Mark never came back, but I just got a message from a random number. "You know too much. Watch your back. You are not safe."